It's Thursday the 23rd of January 2014 and welcome to another edition of Flagpole Corner. My guests this week are Chris, Joel and Billy, who's running late. I've got apologies from Mick from Hat, Scarf and a Badge. Work has called and ruled them out the show. Right boys, before we get on to the derby, a few things from last week. 4-2-4 against Villa. It was pretty dire, wasn't it really? Brendan's got this philosophy of Anfield being a fortress. We can just turn up and beat teams. Obviously Villa proved that wrong. Joel?
Yeah, it certainly did. I mean, the first 25 minutes were a real concern. Though it was a complete contrast to our previous home form earlier on this season. I've only lost the one game. Normally we have steamrolled teams at Anfield, but Saturday was a little bit different. And I think, to be honest, we caught Villa unaware. We sort of underestimated them after they put in the spirit of the second half display against Arsenal, and within half an hour we were 2-0 down. But I think, if anything, the fight, even though it was still a case of 2 points dropped, I think the fight back in the second half was impressive, because normally them type of games last season we would have just rolled over and lost, say, 2-0 or even a 3-1.
Wasn't it a concern the year before when they beat us 3-1? They basically done exactly the same thing, hit us on the counter. Now I've praised Rodgers for learning from mistakes, but that was one mistake he never.
Yes, I'd go along. Sorry, I'd go along with that as well, because I think, to be honest, the midfield sort of got bypassed and they were quite direct with Benteke and Varman. You only have to look at the balls put in for both goals. They didn't deal with them properly. But on the other hand, I think it was just a case of the midfield, the way they were set up. I don't think really we were combated to match Villa's style.
I think the midfield, though, if you look in the first 5 minutes, Mignolet put a ball high up the field and Sturridge won the header, and normally you've got Gerrard and Henderson in that role, just like within 20 yards of them, and there was no one there. They were stood on Torre's toes, and it was like, do you know what, this is not going to work. This, and he changed that to second half, and that's where Gerrard gave Henderson the lease of life to go at them and go and do all his running. You see Gerrard's ball that he played for Suarez's goal. It just shows, just 20 yards further up that pitch and getting the balls down, getting it in that space, you create the chances for the goals, don't you?
You do and you don't. I mean, as I say, it was just very, very naive of us just to think that we can just turn up and beat Aston Villa, especially from the season before. 2-0 down, let's be honest, you could have scored after 25 seconds with a Bonalo's chance. We had a few more before that. Sam and Mignolet is a topic of discussion a lot on the forums and Twitter and whatever else. Basically, since City away, and he should have basically saved that one from the Grado, he's been pretty poor. But then you look at the start of the season, he saved the penalty against Stoke, kept us in the derby. 1 week he's great, 1 week he's average, and ultimately at the minute now he's crap.
Well, I think with any goalkeeper, I think even we saw it in Rayner's first season, he had a lot of hit and miss games where he'd produce stunning save after save and he'd keep a clean sheet, and then apart from that there'd be the other games where he made the odd mistake. And even in the second season, I remember early on he made a daft mistake against Everton, and I think that's the same with Mignolet. He had that great start where he kept 3 clean sheets in his first 3 games. He made the penalty save, and even I thought he commanded his area quite well, and he seems to be a brilliant shot stopper to me, which I think with Rayner he'd sort of regressed on during this final couple of years.
I don't agree with the whole. I don't think you can compare the two. Not as yet. It's too soon for me. I think the whole Mignolet debate comes from a whole defensive point of view, because we've not been settled all season.
No, of course you haven't. What I'm saying is, the mistakes he made, you'd expect an £11 million keeper, whatever, to make them. Every keeper makes mistakes. It's not the thing. This is.
Is that the age-old debate of you remember the keepers by the mistakes and not the good parts, though? Or
well, that's exactly, what I'm saying. Stoke first game of the season, he ultimately saved us 2 points, and he certainly kept us in a derby at Goodison. But as it stands now, I think it's still very, very 50-50 whether he'll be long-term appeal keeper or not, or whether it's just on the stopgap until a new manager comes in, if Rodgers does eventually go, if he goes with him. The defence, as Chris mentioned then, we haven't had a settle back four for basically all season really. News today, Glenn Johnson's out again. John Flanagan's back in training. Sacco's ultimately another couple of weeks away. Skirtles look dodgy, as well as having good games as well. Danny Agger's been inconsistent. What do we do, boys?
I personally think, and someone come up with this point the other day and I thought it hit the nail on the head, why not try and get Steve Clarke back at the club? Because when Steve Clarke was there with Dalglish, our defence was rock solid, wasn't it? And is this like a negative side to Rodgers though, about getting the defence tight? because it had not been settled all season. Even when he had the 4 fit centre halves, he still didn't know who to play, where to play.
I think as well.
My personal favourite back two is Skirtle and Sarko.
Yeah, I think that
obviously Sarko's injured, but I think they complement each other well as well.
They do that, Sarko's a big presence. Skirtle is rock solid on his day, but he reminds me a little bit of Stefan Onshow to a degree. Skirtle, where when he makes mistakes, it costs us goals, but when he's good, he's very good. And ultimately it's a big concern. You say all you want about Mignolet, but once you get a settle back four in front of you, Colo Torre last week, like a kid in the playground, really. He had no positional sense. It was pretty poor, and the size of his arse, Jesus. Joe, anything to add?
Well, I think at the start of the season as well, I think because of the fact that we have sort of messed around in a way with the systems, at one point we had a 3-4-1-2 formation. Again, that sort of comes into play, and even when we had Soré and Agger at the start of the season, and then having Skirtle and Agger, when we kept them clean sheets against Stoke, Villa and United, I think that was our defence at its best this season. Okay, factors, certain mitigating circumstances have come in, such as injuries and new signings and full-backs being injured and what have you, but I think at the heart of it, I still don't know whether Rodgers knows his best centre-half pairing and whether many fans do, because everyone seems to be split as to what our best centre-half pairing is. Personally, I think it's Sakho and Skirtle, but at the start of the season I would have gone with Agger and Skirtle.
I think when he played the three at the back, I've said it for a couple of years about Liverpool squads, the three centre-halves, the club, they fit. We can play wing-backs when Johnson's fully fit and when Lee Fraser's fully fit, and ultimately they all need changing anyway, but the three at the back, it was solid, it worked, and it got us up the table. It's just a bit frustrating when you see the goals conceded when you've got centre-halves 6'4" and he can't head the ball.
That's my whole argument with Daniel Agger, though.
It's schoolboy defending. Danny, head behind the ball, volley it, and put a bit of neck muscle into it. It's schoolboy stuff. It's stuff they should be learning at the academies, and it's embarrassing when you see the ball go 20 foot up in the air instead of onwards and outwards. Brendan Rodgers today at his press conference said he had 15 full fit players. Is that enough to compete for Champions League football, let alone an FA Cup run, which we are down to Bournemouth on Saturday?
I personally think it's a bit of an embarrassment only having 15 fit players, and especially when you look at people are using Bournemouth as like should we get the kids out, should we play them, like on last week's debate. No, the FA Cup's there to be won. Let's go and win it. Let's play our strongest team. Let's go up there and do it. So I'm going to answer that.
You can tell we're our boys. The Sandons upstairs and the Sandon officers, and Lorraine, the landlady, has just had a phone call which she's hung up on because we're now recording. As I say, the lack of squad, it is a bit of a massive concern. We had the discussion last week's show on transfers, and the defensive midfield role is yet again up for question. Lucas is out, potentially till the end of the season.
He said he's going to be fit, isn't he, for the next few weeks?
What I'm saying, when you have an injury like that,
you don't rush them back.
You don't rush them back at all.
But apparently Alan's out in yet as well, isn't he? Someone said today that Alan's wearing in the 15 training. So,
ultimately, if Alan's out, Lucas is out, you're stuck with Henderson and Gerrard in his new role. And let's be honest, this new role, it's nothing new, is it? Roy Hodgson come to Liverpool and started playing him in the two sitting midfielders. Obviously, he played quarterback against Stoke, didn't really work. He gets very isolated. He's like a kid in the playground, loses the ball, he's that quick to want it back. You just leave gaping holes in the middle of the field. It's not Steven Gerrard, where we accommodate him in the side, and we've had this debate for 5 years, where you're going to play him. Is it on the right side again?
I don't think he's got the legs in him to play on the right hand side. And I think from what the system that Rodgers uses now, I don't know whether Gerrard can do that, but I still think if he needed to, I still think he could play behind the front two. I still think he could play off a Suarez or a Sturridge, and I don't.
He's got, as you say, you just mentioned it before about his legs. You need, when you think about him behind Torres, he had the willingness to get beyond the striker.
I think he's got more adventurous players in Coutinho, Sturridge, Henderson, who can fit in behind it rather than Gerrard. I think Gerrard's still got to be in a pitch in some role rather than none.
He proved that at the derby at Goodison, didn't he?
He proved it the second half of the day though against Villa. You seen how much freedom he had in the centre of the park. He let Henderson do the running for him. And the first 20 minutes he was dreadful, but that second half there he was He was. I thought he was the best player on the park the second half.
And you only have to look at the ball that he put forward for the penalty.
And yeah, Suarez, yeah.
And he's still done that last season. I remember a goal Suarez scored at Anfield against Sunderland, where Gerrard just pinged it from inside our own half, and Suarez just set it down and scored, and he can still offer that. And even his assists tally the season, I'm not sure how many it is off the top of my head, but it is a high amount.
I'm pleased to say we've had just a question to the show without even having to ask. Is there anyone in reserves / under 21s to come into the centre midfield and do a job?
I've been watching a lot more of the under 21s and the under 18s lately, and I think one player that stands out for me, although I don't think he's ready yet, is Jordan Rossiter. I think he's been absolutely brilliant, and he's only 16, but he's already been promoted to the under 21s, and he looks like a potential star of the future. And you've even got Cameron Brannigan as well. They're both, to me, two midfielders that could potentially come in and do a job in the future.
Pleased to say Billy has just arrived from over the water.
Hi Bill.
Right.
Do you want to come a bit closer, Bill, and join the convo? Thanks for coming onto the show, albeit a bit late. So far we spoke about the 4-2-4, Fortress Anfield, Sam Mignolet and the defence. Any thoughts about any of them topics before we move on?
Yeah, I thought on Saturday, the kit's been one of the loudest of the cop on Saturday, to be fair. Even though we were getting beat at 4-10 when we scored, everyone was being dead loud and everything, to be fair.
Yeah, the atmosphere was bouncing.
Yeah,
especially when we got that, obviously from the penalty onwards.
As I think if we would have scored after the hour, I think the roof would have come off, and games like that matter when you're in Champions League promotion push, whatever you want to call it. Right, today Spirits of Shankly announced a football survey on tickets and season ticket prices. I urge all Liverpool fans up and down the land, season ticket holders, members, fan card holders, whatever you are, to do this survey. It's vitally important that as the union move forward, we represent the fans on all levels. The supports committee are there to ask questions. We are going to ask the questions on fans' behalf. Go to www.spiritsofshankly.com. The survey is there. All you boys are going to do it, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, as I say, it's a big thing. As you've all been part of the ticketing campaign moving forward, I'd just like to mention Bournemouth on Saturday, £21. They could have absolutely fleeced us when you think about Man United charges £45 for the Carling Cup. I'd just like to say fair play to Bournemouth.
Didn't West Ham charge themselves £45 the other night for the semi-final?
And we got 6-0
down. It's out of order, isn't it?
As I say, I just think it was a nice gesture of Bournemouth not to try and...
Didn't someone else do it last year? Was it Oldham or Mansfield? Didn't they fleece us last year?
No, but Mansfield was £20 as well, weren't it? The season before. But I'd say, just, you know, when you're thinking other games we're getting £50, when £20 comes along, it's very much welcome. Just moving forward, a new feature on the show is going to be Bet of the Week from the lads at Punters Corner. This week's bet will involve the Merseyside derby on Tuesday evening. For Liverpool to be winning at half-time, draw full-time, you will get odds of 16-1 from Sky Bet and Paddy Power. I will do a £10 charity bet every time the lads give me one, and the money will go to the Hillsborough Just campaign at the end of the season once the wins are done. Just to repeat that bet, it is Liverpool half-time, draw full-time, 16-1 with Sky Bet and Paddy Power. Anything else to add, boys, before we start moving on to the big derby on Tuesday?
Well, I think that Bournemouth trip on Saturday is going to be a real eye-opener for some. I think what time we're leaving, 4 o'clock in the morning from the Empire.
4 o'clock in town,
I think it's going to be a case of survival of the fittest on that one on Saturday.
That's another thing regarding ticket prices and that, though. The FA haven't helped us out with the kick-off time, have they?
No.
It's a Budweiser FA Cup as well, and we can't even get a bevy in the ground.
That's only a temporary stand as well. I've been reading up on it today.
Yeah, it's
like another Blackpool type stand.
Right, let's move on to what we've all supposed to sat down for, the derby on Tuesday. I've got a few topics to talk about, and I will start off with your best derby moments over the past couple of years. Billy?
Be the Gerrard's hat-trick or the semi-final, the FA Cup. Just a brilliant day, weren't it? Everton thought they were going to win, and they just had yellow fits on fire the next minute. Big Andy at the end, popping up.
Always brings a smile to your face, that, don't when you say that.
I think the thing about that game, you know, I did have the derby semi-final down for the Don't Buy the Sun stuff, but I'll just talk about the game first of all. You know, what did we lose to? Fulham at home, West Brom at home, and somewhere else previous, all 1-0. We had Brad Jones in goal. He was shocking.
Remember they rested the players as well. Was that the semi-final? No.
For the derby at
The derby at Anfield, and they
Yeah.
all thought they were going to win it.
I think that was the big thing about the semi-final. That's probably, without giving them too much credit, that was probably their best chance. They thought they were going to have one over on us, the biggest game, potentially the biggest game of the season, and they went 1-0 up at half time. And to be honest, I was breaking at half time. I thought we've got no chance of coming back here. And the second half performance was a bit more spirited, weren't it? And to come away with that 2-1 win,
Happiest I've ever been, I think. One of the happiest. I think what we like at the end, Adam. When we had that first look.
As I say, just to marvel on that thing, the Don't Buy the Sun stuff, what happened before that semi-final at Wembley, obviously, it was the day before, the 15th. I just thought the Evertonians as a whole were outstanding with it. Hills were just a campaign, had 20,000 red Don't Buy the Sun posters done, everyone went. We had 10,000 blue ones done, and Everton's actually coming up asking for it. Now, we all know the songs they sing and whatever else, and we all know that they have got a lot of nastiness in the support, but that day I just thought, they were there to credit to the city, and it was good to see.
And to be fair to them, not just in that year in particular, but even at the time the report came out, a lot of them have been absolutely brilliant with regards to the campaign and the whole the fight for justice. And regularly every year you see a lot of them on the cop in the colours, supporting us. And even I've just caught a couple of them at the end singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." So fair play to them.
I think we were down at Wembley as well. We were walking round the Everton ends before the game, and Debbie from the Ellsworth shop was round there giving all the posters out and that. And we were talking to her for about 5 minutes, and there was some little lad walked over. He must have been about 12, 13, and he waited politely as anything, and just said to Debbie, can I have some of those posters please? And Debbie gave him all those, and you want to see the smile on his face, and you thought, you know what, that's a 12-year-old lad there, that's how much it means to him. And he went and gave it to all his mates and all that. So it runs through everyone's on it, and what he done that game there you can't take away. They done well, didn't they?
They did that, as I say, ultimately, then you have the nasty elements as you get when you go to Goodison most games, but let's not dwell about that, boys. One of the worst derby experiences we ever had, I think, was under Uncle Roy.
The best game we played that season.
The best game we played under whatever it was, and let's be honest, it wasn't football, was it? It was embarrassing. And when he shook Dignity Dave's hand like he was all best mates, I think everyone else wanted to run on the pitch and kill him that day. I think a mob went down to Melbourne to tell him blatantly that he was a disgrace. It wasn't very pleasant, and we haven't had many bad days. Maybe the Johnson derby, Goodison maybe got beat 3-0. Maybe Rafa's first one when Carsley scored.
The 3-0 as well.
The Johnson 3-0.
But the FA Cup League play as well. Sorry.
I think that's Joel's invitation for future shows. Sorry,
lads.
Right, just any more positives, boys, on best derby moments, Chris?
I don't know. Are we talking Anfield or Goodison?
Anyone you want,
look
boys?
over the years, don't you? Look at Reese's goal at Everton, Murphy's goal at Everton, and then you look at the Anfield games, the 3-1 when Keel scored, the one where Morientes pinged it off the bar and Garcia scored the header. The release you get when goals go in like that, you can't beat them. The best moments when you're at Red, aren't they?
I remember being in the Gladys Street as well for the Gary Mac derby, and I was only 9 years old, and even then
I actually sold a ticket for that game, because it was an obstructive view, believe it or not. I remember the best derby in years, and I got rid of my ticket.
I remember Esky running through early on and scoring, and I just remember all us around us like a little pocket of Reds all jumping up, going mad, and seeing the reaction on the Blues' faces that day was brilliant.
One of my personal favourite ones was when Gerrard got sent off early, and the Evertonians and the away end had a party. They basically ran around, shirts off, and
that was the Keel one,
with the capital culture when he both had their weight on him and Beatty. And well, it was a personal sad day for me as we got put down that day as well, but that obviously made it a little bit sweeter.
Remember the derby where Kiriakos got sent off and Kelp got the winner? And then I think Pienaar got sent off in that one. Van der Meijden got sent off in the Gerrard ones, didn't he?
Van der Meijden as well, yeah.
But remember Kelp getting the winner, and it was like a scruffy 1-0 win, but like any victory over Everton, it's always sweet, like.
Biggest game of the season as far as I'm concerned.
Well, to be fair, Bill, you just took the next question off me. Basically, a lot of, as you're all good young Scouse lads here, and Everton is basically the first fixture you look for, isn't it? Now, obviously Liverpool's fan base goes far and wide, and a lot of people say Man United is a bigger game. Are they wrong?
I think they are.
Derby's, any country in the world, any city in the world, Derby's your biggest game.
I've had a long ongoing debate with a certain Adam Kane for about 4 or 5 years now regarding which is the bigger game, Man United or Everton, and I can't see why people dislike Man United more than to Everton. At the end of the day, they're our enemy, aren't they? They're the rivalry.
So a week in, it's a week full of everything.
It is. We're the closest mounted in the table between each other. Obviously, they finished above us the last couple of years, but
beat Man United though, and then you go away and it's like you beat Man United, beat Everton. It's like you've got
a weekly thing. It's a pride, isn't it? It's a pride.
And it goes back to when you know, back when we were all in school, and you're always with the Everton fans every day, and because like, you know, back then they were always in relegation fights and all that, and it was always like a badge of honour if we beaten them. Okay, they had a bit of a decent record with us, but you know, even in school, like I had a lot of mates who were Everton fans, and I couldn't knack it off them if they beat us. Like I'd just run one of show up to school on the Monday morning after Carsley got the winner, or like after the FA Cup replay, I just wouldn't want to show my face for days on end, and that's what it brings to you, this derby. It means that much to you that you want it. It just makes you want to win so much.
I think you know, the United game, the media play a big hype in that, don't they? And you know, Sky
teams in England now, aren't they?
Yeah, well, as I say, you know, the two most successful teams. I think actually on the pitch, United may be the bigger game, but that's all rivalry and what it means to you. You beat Everton, you smile for the week, don't you? It's not just Liverpool and Everton,
it's every derby you look, and the world's the biggest for them, innit?
Well, it should be, you know what I'm saying, but when Chelsea's derby's Fulham, it's a little bit, you know, it's not much of a comparison, is it really?
Still winners, still.
It's as I say, I just think it's a total difference.
I think it's different up here though, because as you say, because every kid growing up in the city and that, they live and breathe football, don't they? You go down to, you're saying Chelsea and Fulham there, they're not really, I don't know, they're not really as big on the footy scene as we are up here.
It's passion, I think.
That's really passionate. Growing up as a kid there, you're our fella, you hate Everton, you can't say Everton when you're a kid and all that, do you know what I mean? It's like
the other way as well, vice versa, innit?
Yeah, it's not, but they probably do the same, yeah. You know, it's like, obviously when
it's like that, what was the programme, he said, blue and white, red and white, you know what I mean? That's what it's like, innit, the kid?
Yeah.
Reds and blues, innit?
Reds and blues. Kirby fight, yeah.
Joel, what into it?
Just the fact that even now, going into the games, right, you get, you know, everyone knows about the derby belly, and it comes on for days on end. Like I remember even the last derby, because like there was an international break before it. For them 2 weeks, all you're thinking about is that game at Goodison or at Anfield, wherever it is, and the nerves just go, and you get them sickly feelings straight away. And even on the morning of the match, you're getting up and all. Even when you're in the shower, you can't even eat, or when you're heading up to the ground to meet your mates before the game. It's just all it is about is the derby. And once you get in that ground, you release that tension, and if you win, great. If you don't, or even if it's a game like the one we had at Goodison in November, everyone comes out of it with their heads battered.
Even the walk up to the ground and everything's brilliant, isn't it?
As Billy said before, it's a weekly thing now, isn't it? Like the days before or the weeks before, you're winding your mates up and you're having a bevy with them and all that, and you're giving them loads and they're giving you loads back and all that, and then after the game, if it's gone your way, you can't help but talk about it. If it's not gone your way, you don't want to talk about it at all, do you? But no, it's just I personally believe it's Liverpool's biggest game of the season. Both the Everton home, Everton away are the two biggest games of the season. Take Man U out of it, take if we're going for Champions League, whatever. When you get the fixture at the start of the season, the first game you look for is the derby.
Yeah. And I think it's stuck out the twice on this season, hasn't it, with the fact that both teams are neck and neck in the league.
Yeah, well, it's been like that for a few years now, hasn't it, Joel?
Yeah, it has, yeah.
Well, as Joel mentioned them, Everton, should we be worried by them coming to Anfield? You know, Martinez has just got them appointed at Arsenal, won at Old Trafford. Obviously, Barkley being out is a big bonus because he was head and shoulders the best player at the park.
Lukaku seems to be out of form as well, but when usually out of form comes to Anfield, they usually seem to find form, don't they?
Yeah. I don't think form, it's that old cliche, isn't it, where the form goes out the window as well, you know what I mean? It's like, you can look at Liverpool from this weekend, all the debate over transfers and 15 players on the training grounds and drawing 2-2 with Villa at home, and you're like, do you know what, is our form going out the window? Are we going to turn up for the derby and that? But I personally believe going into the game on Tuesday there, I'm confident that we'll beat them, but they'll give us a game for 90 minutes. It'll be tight, as they always are.
I think you know, when obviously Delafeo, when he come on, Goodison, he basically changed the game for him, didn't he? He put them on the front foot. His legs, Barkley's legs, Coleman's legs, all being out should benefit us. Their midfield must be slow as ours, isn't it? You know, you've got McCarthy's legs to combat Henderson's legs. Osman Barry is basically just doing the like what Gerrard does. Actually running around. I don't think it'll be as hectic as previous derbies. It's what happens up the top end of the pitch, because their two centre-halves are not bad. Our centre-halves are a bit dodgy. Their
centre-halves are crap. I don't rate their centre-halves at all. Suarez and Sturridge should have an absolute field day against them.
Sturridge's going to play though, or are they going to go back to the one?
No,
but Sturridge is fit, you play him, simple as.
I think if we've only got 15 players in the squad, Bill, we played the best ones we've got, and that includes Sturridge and Suarez, doesn't it?
I'll tell you what, though, one player who I've been impressed by for Everton this season has been McCarthy. I think he's probably been their best sign, and I know like Lukaku and Delafeu have had all the plaudits, and even Barry as well.
The game when Wigan against and he ripped Gerrard apart. Remember when he won us 1-0, did he? Wigan, JJB.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant for that Wigan then.
And I think he even, like Billy's touched on it there, Lukaku's been in and out of form lately, and I think when Martinez has used Delafeu, who hasn't even started with him, he's always brought him on as an impact sub. I don't think he started that many games. He came on at Arsenal, and as you said, Steve, he came on in the derby. I don't know whether he will be fit or not for next week, but I think that's the key next week. I know you've said up front and that, but I think it will be the midfield battle. I think we've got to break down McCarthy and Barry if we're going to have any chance of winning.
I think being a home team, though, I think that you've got to rely on your midfield dominating from the first whistle. You've got to win that first tackle, you've got to win that first second ball, you've got to get the ball down, dictate the tempo, get our play, get Henderson moving about the pitch, get him moving there, midfielders about,
I think
create the space.
Weak link will be Sissoko then, again if he plays.
If he plays, yeah.
Let's be honest though, I'd say with Johnson being out now, if Flanagan could come back inside, he's going to be playing right back unless he makes Martin Kelly there and puts Flanagan left back if he ultimately is fit.
We need Sakho back as well.
Yeah, we were saying that earlier, weren't we, about Sakho back?
I think Sakho needs to combat Lukaku just for the strength, because if Danny Agger goes in there or Cole Torre, they're just going to get turned down because he'll bully them. He'll bully the pair of them. That's one of my worries about Everton. Last week I asked Chris and Cairns and Phil if we had a reason to hate Roberto Martinez, and they couldn't give me an answer. Billy?
I couldn't. He's a nice fella. So I think he's stuck up for Rashford, hasn't he?
Still on a personal notice, Billy, yeah, you little scout in there, campfire, yeah.
Me and Bobby there going to
Joe, I like him. I think, to be honest, he hasn't come in with all this like People's Cup palaver that like David Moyes start spinning.
I think what's funny about Everton fans and Martinez though is when we were mentioning Martinez in the summer, they were saying, what are you doing going for him? Last year when he was going to come to it, they were like, Martinez, he's crap, he's this, he's that and that, and next minute they get him like, oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread. No,
I think he's proved him wrong, though, hasn't he? By what he's actually done. Like, I know a lad there who's a scout for Everton, and he said like when he walks into the training grounds, everything's first name terms. They all call him Mr. Martinez. On he'll speak to anyone from the tea lady to the head coach. Whereas apparently when Moyes was there, he used to walk around on his phone. He was
didn't have the time of day.
Seems like Rodgers and Martinez are near enough close together, man, not close, but
you can see the similarities.
Yeah.
Well, both of them had time at Swansea, didn't he? Both of them like I don't know whether there was a manager in between the two of them, but both of them done well at Paulo Sousa. They done well at Swansea, but even now with Martinez, he comes across well in his interviews, and like, and even the way when he spoke about us before the derby, it wasn't none of this all like what Moyes used to do, like trying to wind us up to a degree, and there doesn't seem to be any animosity between the two managers as far as I'm aware. But I think for once, I think he's the only Everton manager I haven't got a dislike to.
Do you not think, obviously, like, by the way we're talking about him, by what we're saying, do you not think that's a sign of us being like not threatened by him, but like a bit of a more respect towards him?
Yeah, sort of. I think it's quite strange, isn't it, to like an not like an Everton manager, but not hate him or dislike him. It's like we sort of want, if we see him on the telly or like the way he conducts himself.
He's interesting, isn't he? He's an interesting fella, especially from like a football point of view as well.
And a lot of Everton fans were sceptical of him when they first came in, and now
we can play good football as well under them, but they just didn't have to play it.
Right, so ultimately I'm going to go to a derby on Tuesday, and I'm going to have to walk around with the I Love a Bobby t-shirt on, because no one's giving me anything to hate the twat, yeah. I'm not impressed. I've had a few questions in, boys. One off Phil Walton to Joel and Billy. Who was your favourite skem twin between Andy and Chris? Billy?
Chris, obviously.
Thanks, Billy.
Chris, obviously.
Chris for the win.
Nice one.
Chris for the win.
Well done, Joe.
Sorry, Andy, you're outvoted. I'd like to say hello to the listeners in Portugal, France, USA, Russia, Ireland, Austria, Germany, and all across the UK. And in Skem again, 2 weeks running. Nice one.
It's getting a bit of a joke this now, isn't it?
Right, Joel before mentioned Derby Belly, so to speak. Your Derby Day shits. How many do you have, Billy?
I don't know, just have loads of shit. Don't know, don't really count, I don't really know.
Come on, you normally get that rumble in the belly about 5:30 in the morning, don't you?
It's normally 3 days before though, isn't it, when you start properly thinking about it?
Yeah.
I don't even really have them, you know. I just, my ass goes like one. But I don't really have them.
No, Joel.
I think it's either the week before it starts, but it slowly but surely builds up, and I think the fact that we've got a game Saturday helps, because there's only that couple of days in hand to worry about, whereas last time it was a 2-week nightmare to a degree. Many sleepless nights worrying about like how the game's going to pan out, and who might be Everton's Derby Day hero, or how we going to combat their defence, or with Zeman of Suarez and Sturridge winners. And I think, to be honest, for the draw going off there, considering it was a draw, I think it was a great derby in November, because every time I see the goals I get a big grin on my face, and I'm looking at Suarez's free kick. And
I think it's funny though, Derby, because like when we beat them, it's like you should beat us. You spent 10 million or whatever.
Yeah. So
that was 6 shits then, Joel. Yeah.
Mate, it's just one of those days, isn't it? It's just, I don't know, you wake up and the first thing you do is sing Liverpool songs, and you just carry on all day, and I don't know, it's just, I don't get nervous, you know. I don't get this Derby belly thing when everyone goes on about, because I'm always confident. So you've got to be as a Liverpool fan.
I'll be honest with you, I vomit, I hate it, I can't stand them, I hate the whole day, I hate everything about them, I hate the kit, I hate the fans, I hate the club, I hate everything about them, but I love Robbie Barty in this. So I'm a bit confused what to say, to be honest.
No, well, I've just remembered there, your Andy Chris, a couple of years ago, he took your dog out for a walk, and I remember him texting me saying he dreamed he'd had Gerrard scoring at it, and what happened that night? Gerrard scored at it.
He must us though, mustn't he? Because every time we go to Goodison, we just pull some of the bag with flags and things like that.
We were talking about that last week, when Andy, that banner last year for the, or this year for the 18th birthday was, that must do their heads in, mustn't it? It's great.
They'll try something with us, won't they? But it just never happens, does it?
Purple smoke bombs.
Or bited and twisted. Oh, it's quite original, wasn't it?
I've noticed as well, even now, like the arguments and like the banter on Facebook and Twitter now, it's getting like dead in sense, isn't it? More and more. Like I noticed in the last builds up, and even now, people are already starting to get the edgeways in. Like on Monday after they drew, and people are going, because they had the goal disallowed in the last minute, people are going, get on the table quick. No, we've just gone above Liverpool, and then they're going, oh no, hang on, it's offside.
I think that's the modern day Twitter fan now, who just likes to go on the winds up all the time, isn't it?
Everyone looking
just, if anyone wants any questions for the boys, can you tweet the Anfield FM site at Anfield FM, or can you do it on the forum read all over the land if you're on there, or any text for the boys who are on the show. Right,
let's not repeat that, Bill.
I just lost track then, boys. Nice one. Bournemouth on Saturday. Can I just go back to anyone know anything about them? Players, managers, anything to worry about?
Aren't they? Already.
The Cherries? No idea.
I don't know
the Cherries the next night. I know the captain's a Liverpool fan. He's been on the telly this. He's been on the telly this week. Like already with a couple of interviews and that. I know we signed that from there. She's been in the Echo today talking about like how his time at Bournemouth and Liverpool, and how he's
played them before, haven't we?
I think we've only ever played them twice in the FA Cup. I think that's as far as I know.
I think back to the game against them now, I think, as I said earlier, I still think it's, I know we talked about the derby and all that, and the derby is the big game coming up, but
let's get through.
Yeah,
Let's get through the FA Cup.
let's get through the FA Cup first. Massive game.
Yeah,
I personally want to go and win it.
As I say, I maybe we discussed on the last show about the importance of the FA Cup to Brendan Rodgers as a manager, and I will say it again, I think it's absolutely massive for him to go out all eggs in one basket and try and win it, just to get the monkey off his back. I think the manager is Eddie Howell at Bournemouth. a young upcoming manager.
Eddie Howe, isn't it? Howe.
yeah.
Sorry, Eddie Howe. And obviously they're in the Championship.
Are they that good?
Yeah.
Championship.
I thought that they did like
I thought
I thought he was in the same league as Burton when they played him the other day or something.
They were in administration as well a few
Let's
years
just,
ago. They've gone shot straight
Let's
up the
hope
league,
Rodgers
haven't
and his back new staff have done a bit more.
Oh, make them up. We have. The executive producer there, Paul, digs us out the shit with the wrong name. As I say, we are recording from the Sandon today, boys. I'm going to hopefully try and do all the pubs around the L4 area over the coming weeks. We'll get back the Arkle, we'll do the Sandon, we'll do the Surrey, try and get in the King Gary. Obviously it all depends on the internet connection, but we'll try and move it around. As I said earlier on, boys, the SOS survey's out about the ticket prices. It is a massive issue, as we've demonstrated over the course of the season. This survey is there to be filled in. Anyone got any thoughts about how we can move forward in this ticket campaign?
I haven't actually seen the survey yet. Obviously I will do want to get being at work today, but when I get home and have a look, I'll be filling it out. But we had a bit of a talk between the 1906 lads last night regarding things coming up, and ticket prices was one of them, and it's always seems to be Liverpool at the front runners. Liverpool do this, Liverpool do that. We're always done with the banners, we're always done with the displays, and other teams seems to be coming to us asking, what can we do for this, what can we do for that? And I think it's got to a point now where it's not died a death, but I think other teams have got to start standing up and being counted, and it's not just us.
When we went down to Fido, Tottenham were there, weren't they? Was a few Tottenham.
Especially with what's come out today, with Liverpool releasing that thing on Twitter with Paddy Power, they're giving away 25 pairs of tickets to customers. What's that all about?
To be fair, I don't know if anyone's seen this. The actual official LFC Twitter account today said there's 25 pairs of derby tickets to be won if you promote Paddy Power or something along them lines. I didn't really catch it, but I know Chris and Adam Cairns had a bit of a ding dong with them on it, and basically it's a corporate mentality. They're going to do what they want, and local fans don't really get a say.
Apparently if you register for Paddy Power, you're in with a chance to win one of 25 pairs of tickets for a derby. And my reply back to them was, why don't you give one of those, or even half of those pairs, to the local kids who hang around the corner, or some local kids from the arts,
like when you play United,
the
them Honda, weren't they?
They're always at it, aren't they? They're always at it.
And then how can Man United, it's so hard to get a ticket for Old Trafford anyway for the lads, and they're giving, what was it, 500?
Yeah.
500 tickets.
We had a talk last night and we were saying about the atmosphere in Anfield, and obviously the 1906 lads have all the flags and banners. Is that every time I talk? This is the 1906 lads have all the banners and the flags and all that, and without us they wouldn't have the atmosphere and the money they make on this 12th man, this come to Anfield and see our famous cop, our famous atmosphere. But it doesn't help when they're giving all the, I know it's only 50 tickets, but it doesn't help when they're giving these tickets away to Eddie from Bristol or Brian from Ireland, do you know what I mean?
No, definitely, no, 100% right there, Chris. You know, there's local lads there who struggle to get derby tickets or whatever else, and we always know it's the same old story, people can't afford it, yada. But when you see the actual official site giving away tickets, it makes you think you're fighting a losing battle. You know, the boys have tried really hard over the past 2 years.
When's Liverpool ever helped us though?
Oh no, of course they haven't, Bill, but what I'm saying is, you know, you can only help yourselves to a degree, and when you're trying your best to try and influence the club's decisions and whatever else, and then they go and do that, it basically makes you feel not worthless, but you're fighting a losing battle, you're pissing in the wind to a lesser degree. And as I say, that survey's there to make an impact and hopefully make the club realise before yet again we get stung in May for our season ticket renewals. And you know, if we do manage to escape Champions League football, what are they going to cost? Right, a few questions have come into the show. We've had one off Thomas 2 on Twitter: win the FA Cup or qualify for the Champions League, Joel?
Qualify for the Champions League. I know I'd love to see us win a trophy, and there's nothing beats a day out at Wembley and being there in the final and what have you, but at the end of the day we haven't been in the Champions League now for nearly 5 years, and I think a lot of people will start miss them European nights at Anfield, and if it means get one or the other, I'd say 4th place right now.
Billy?
I'd say Champions League as well, because when you're at the Champions League as well, you get a better, higher quality players. you get higher quality players, which then you can go for the likes of the FA Cup and all the other competitions and everything.
Chris, I know we talked about this last week.
Why not both? As we said last week, the FA Cup is Saturday or Sunday football, so you're not taking a break out your weekly routine, so it's just like having another extra game every weekend. It's the same build-up period, so why not go for both? They're both there to be won in a way.
I'd love both, like in an ideal sense, but I think, to be honest, if it come down to one or the other, I would have to pick the Champions League on current preference.
You know, I think your priority is, you know, as we said last week, your top four. It's it's your holy grail bar and winning the league. It's a very, very difficult one for Brendan Rodgers in my eyes, because the money's there for the Champions League, but as I keep mentioning it, you know, he needs to win a trophy. He needs to get that monkey off his back just to prove I am a Liverpool manager and I've won a trophy. You know, he left Swansea, they won the League Cup. You look over the park, there's a young man who's there here who has won a cup. He just needs to get the right balance and just think, you know what, I'm here, I've won a trophy, let's move forward.
And just one other thing as well, near enough every manager since Shankly's won a trophy at least, apart from Hudson. So I think, to be honest, if he, like, for Rodgers, not just the club but for Rodgers as well, you know, to be remembered.
Do you still think Rodgers got a lot of people that he's still got to prove? I know he's put us in the right direction on my point of view, but do you think winning the FA Cup will get all his doubters off his back? Or
no? It's a bit of
if there is any.
Yeah, and no, I think there are, like with any manager, I think that not just Rodgers but a manager of any other football club, there's a lot of fans out there on manager.
Do you think just by winning one trophy will lose?
I don't think so. There's not.
But what about qualifying for the Champions League? Will he?
Again, I don't think so, because you're always going to have that for and against it. We saw it with Rafa countless other times. The amount of times people argued over him even when we won the Champions League, people were still doubting him. Even when Kenny was in charge, and it's always going to happen. So I just think it's just one or the other, really.
Billy, anything to add?
I'm alright, mate.
Right. Another question from Swifty on Twitter regarding the squad. It's just broke that Salah is signed for Chelsea. Obviously we've been linked with him for a couple of weeks. He wasn't my priority sign, because I don't think we needed another winger, so to speak, but as Chelsea just signed him to stop us signing, i.e. what they've done with William.
I think Liverpool though as well, what they've done is they've not given to with higher money for him again, because there was 16 million they were saying for him today. Liverpool weren't going to do that. They didn't think he was worth more than 12 million.
Is that true though? Because
I'm saying, you know, Chelsea spent 18 million quid on him, reportedly 18 million quid, or 16 million plus bonus, whatever you want to call it. But have they literally just done with what they've done with the William Spurs? You know, he basically ripped them apart in the Champions League, didn't he, for Bale? Have they just signed in to stop us signing? Chelsea got 40 players out on loan. 40 players out on loan Chelsea have got. You know, there's got to be some sort of cap on it. He can't physically just get 40 million quid for Mata, which is crazy money. 18 million quid for Kevin De Bruyne, who's played 6 games for them, and just buy a player to stop us buying him.
It's like that Burton as well, who's gone on loan to Villa now, hasn't he? He's a decent left back.
Was that true about that, or about where we link with him?
Yeah.
As again, it's all rumours and all again, but they wouldn't let us have him because of how we treated Moses or something.
I don't know, we were after Burton, we were after Burton.
Was it mentioned in the press conference?
Yeah,
it wasn't a rumour that.
I think as well, regarding like the loan signings and all that, Miarfeld come out with a good point to start of the season when Andy Miarfeld were talking in ours, and I personally said at the time Moses is a good signing on loan, and obviously Everton got Lukaku, and Miarfeld said why is it? Because we're only keeping them fit for them next year, because if they have a good season with us, they're only going to go back to them fit, whereas if they don't go out on loan, they're only sat on a bench or and doing nothing.
There's a reason why Moses has gone to Liverpool though, isn't it? They wouldn't have just got rid of him if he thought he was half decent.
No, but is that with, obviously he's not in Rodgers' first 11, 15, whatever, is that Rodgers seeing it now? Well, we're challenging Chelsea here, so I'm not going to keep him fit because we don't want you at the end of the year, so I'm not going to keep you fit for him to go back there to be fit for you next year.
It's like with Courtois as well. They've had him on loan at Atletico Madrid now for nearly 3 seasons. It's as if he's been there as a permanent player, and now it's a question of are they ever going to bring him back to the place in Czech, or are they just going to let him keep him farmed out? And he's become probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world, if not the best goalkeeper in the world.
It's just a joke though, how much to spend in it.
As I say, I think, Mourinho's not soft. He's very, very shrewd in the way he operates, and even going back to his press conference after the game against us, he took all the questions away from the penalty against Suarez by saying how great the Premier League is because the Dingo, he's just very, very shrewd, clever.
That's what I've seen Rodgers do though as well lately, you know. So like when he took all when he didn't take the blame, you know, about the penalty against City and he had to go to the ref and everything, he took it away from the players and everything.
And you know, it's so you take it on your shoulders, you try and fund the blame yourself or take the pressure off your players by taking it
I think it's
on the chin as a manager.
Thing to defend the players though, isn't it? And if they think their players has done wrong, you don't want your manager to come out and say, well, I know he's done wrong and I'm going to leather him live on telly or on the radio. Do you want him to? That's all the personal behind the scene thing. So you distract whatever way you can, because you've got to be in 100% support of your players. Right,
boys, we've gone to the last 10 minutes of the show. Let's go back to the derby. Ultimately, you know, it is literally a 6-point Champions League playoff, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, Spurs are back on our tail saying that, so you can't really rule them out. But how important is it moving forward that we win and just put a good performance in and preferably keep a clean sheet?
Put a bad performance in, we still beat them in the last minute or two, any day of the week.
3 points is 3 points, isn't it? It's a massive 3 points as well.
That's confidence, even if you play bad and you win 1-0, your confidence still goes up, doesn't it?
Of course it does, you know, Bill, but I think I don't think Rodgers is going to make the same mistake by not underestimating Everton but playing your 4-2-4 and so offensive and whatever else. But what do we do? Do we go back to 3 at the back? Do we try the 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 or whatever it's going to be?
On Saturday there against Villa, I wanted him to do that 4-2-4 with Coutinho, Sturridge, Suarez, Sterling, and I said, let's go for it and let's prove a point. We're live on telly, let's go for it, let's show everyone that we mean business here. Let's go at them. And it didn't. Everyone knew within 10-15 minutes it didn't work. We do that against these on Tuesday, and if they score an early goal or do what Villa done and go 2 up, we're not going to get back into that game. So we've got to be careful in how we goes for it.
So you know, obviously everyone knows the first goal is mighty important. If they do get it, are we confident of coming back?
Yeah, you've got Sturridge and Suarez on the pitch.
Suarez against anyone in the world, and Suarez on the pitch.
I think the total.
Good for a goal.
So I think, you know, the total difference from an Everton belief point. They've won Old Trafford now. They are capable of going to the relatively big teams.
He's won at Old Trafford with a poor Man United side, in my opinion.
It doesn't matter though, Bill. They've got that. You know, they've done it for the first time in what it was 11 years. What Moyes couldn't do. I just think they have got that belief of going and taking points from the teams that they haven't done before.
They can play, to me though, with Everton, they can play as good as they can any game, but when it comes to Liverpool, they seem to buckle under the pressure all the time.
Well, you can say that though, but when you look at the derby, you know, Goodison this year, when we went 2 up, they didn't buckle there, did they?
Joe Allen scores that though, it's game
over. Yeah, of course he does, you know, that's...
You've got to buy into the home and away thing as well though, don't you, with the home advantage and away advantage and all that.
I think it's all about mentality as well, because I know we haven't come behind to win a game yet this season, but we went 3-2 down at Goodison within the last 10 minutes. We could easily have just lost that game, could have conceded a fourth, but we came back and got a no draw. Even last Saturday we came back from 2-0 down.
People say like Liverpool get like decisions for them at Goodison, and Everton get decisions all the time. I think
there's always big decisions to be won and lost in derbies though, isn't it? You only have to look at that Suarez goal from the other year that wasn't offside.
Anyone know who the ref is for Tuesday? Joel? No.
But
I know they're all shaped, but that's beside the point.
Looking at the other games on next week, Tottenham have got Man City, so that could it's even just as crucial that we get 3 points because of that, because hopefully Tottenham will drop points at home to City, and then you've got Southampton against Arsenal. No, really, we're 8 points behind Arsenal now, and the title's probably a distant team, but you know, they could still potentially drop points. United have got Cardiff at home, so you're looking at next weekend. There are a lot of big fixtures.
Is it true though that from I don't know whether I read this on obviously Twitter again, but from now until the end of the season, does all the teams in and around us play each other each week? So like City play Arsenal, or Chelsea will play.
So basically,
so there's points to be dropped every week from now until the end of the season, which is massive if you ask me.
Yet again, Paul, the executive producer, has just informed us Martin Atkinson is the referee. I'm sure my half is now cringing in his seat.
Not him.
And no matter who the referee is, they're all still going to moan those Blues, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that. Right, we've got 10 minutes left, boys. Sorry, 5 minutes left, sorry, apologies. Can I have your predictions, Billy?
I think we'll win 2-1.
2-1, Chris?
3-1.
3-1.
I'm going to go for another roller coaster of a derby, 3-2 Liverpool.
Ask me Tuesday,
Yeah.
because I'm on the fence.
Why is it Tuesday?
What was that tip you gave me for Ste? What was that?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, it's just they all talk about Liverpool and Everton always being like quarter-one kick-off because of police and everything else. And next minute he put on a quarter-half.
Back to that though, Bill, like saying about home advantage and all that, do you not think that'll work in our home?
On the night time at Anfield,
European feel.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's just weird the way we always have quarter-one kick-offs and everything else. Next minute he put us on
the Gerrard on 3-0.
That
got moved out, didn't it?
Yeah, because of
That
the
the
cup
cup
final.
game,
Yeah. I'm sure as well that I think what will go in our favour next week is the atmosphere. I'm sure the lads will get in dead early before the game, getting the flags out, getting the songs going, and I think that even if that adds a little boost, I know people sign buying into this 12-man sign and buying an extra goal and that, but even that is an advantage in itself.
Anfield's one of the best places.
It's a fortress, isn't it? When it wants to be.
And it's one of the biggest derbies in years. So
yeah, massively.
I did leave the flags for the last 5 minutes, boys. On Saturday, I believe the Spine Cup 1906 lads had the badges for sale at the front of the Cup, and they went very well. I believe 96 was sold.
Yeah, it was 96 on the first day of sale. From ourselves at the front of the Cup and from Michen, hat scarf and a badge. We've had photos of lads from all over. Well, they've been sent to USA, all over Europe, Indonesia, all over the country as well. So they've started off going well, and they're available off ourselves on the Twitter account at Spine Cup 1906, and from Mick's shop at hat scarf and a badge. Or if the next home game, the Everton game, will be down at the front of the Cup with a load.
We have some at Bournemouth on Saturday as well.
Bournemouth Saturday as well. We'll have a load, $2.50 a piece. So come and find myself or some of the lads and
Sound.
Can I also say there, Steve, while we're on it,
Go on.
if you want to make a donation to the account, it's SpineCup1906 at hotmail.com, and it's non-profitable. Everything goes to the flags. Everyone knows we're doing a good job. The amount of support we've had so far has been brilliant, so if keep that up.
No. Just on a final note, Joe Richards is actually doing some charity work at the moment. Do you want to tell a bit about that, Joe?
Yeah, I've set up a Just Giving page for the local charity campaign against living miserably, and as part of it I'm doing a 10k run in May around Sefton Park, but as an added challenge I've decided to give up drinking from the 1st of January till the day of the run. So in total it's going to be over 120 days trying to stay sober. So I'm just trying to raise as much money as possible for that charity, because a couple of months ago I was diagnosed with depression, and thanks to them I wrote an article for the website and I received a lot of good help off them, and there's some brilliant people and they don't get much funding off the government, and charities like that struggle to raise money. So anything I can do, or if anyone can donate any money, be it a couple of quid or even a tenner, I've had a few donations so far. I'm just trying to raise as much money as possible. So if you visit the Just Giving page, it's justgiving.com justgiving.com/Joel-Richards1. All the details should be on there if you want to donate a couple of quid.
Nice one, Joel. I'm sure the lads at Flagpole Corner will throw a few quid in along the way. Right, boys, I'd just like to say thanks to Billy, Joel and Chris for coming in. I'm Ste Martin. That was the Flagpole Corner. Join us next week, and also thank you to the Sandon
And the phone.
and the phone.